I'm Lauren Cercione. I have been in fitness for over 20 years, and in the last 3 years, I have been putting together a full comprehensive system that targets all 4 of our bodies, our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies. And Hottie with the Body is my membership, where every single month we're going to have a group coaching call. Every single month you have a meditation to activate your energy and reprogram your mind body. Each week we have a Body Energetix body code, where I'm taking you through the metaphysical meaning of one body part at a time, in addition to my diet and nutrition guide, my meal prep guide, with like so many videos in each of those, on top of my workout app, where I have provided you with the workouts necessary to really build your hot body. Now, I am running this membership pretty uniquely. Every week, our trainings for the paid program are actually going to be held here inside this free community. Now, that might sound totally crazy, but the reason why I'm doing it is for 2 reasons. The Hottie with the Body members are totally covered with everything that they could possibly need to make this mental, emotional, spiritual, physical transformation. They have the tangible tools, and they have the energetic tools, and they have check-ins and accountability, and they have me every single month to go deep on a group coaching call. This is like the icing on the cake to deepen the reason why they would want to follow through. And then for you, who is in our free community, who hasn't signed up for Hottie with the Body, this is a chance for you to get your feet wet, for you to be surrounded in the thoughts and the feelings and the mindset of me that has been able to transform her body from being in chronic pain, chronic inflammation, so much self-hate, so much depression that really showed up in my self-care habits of overeating or binging or yo-yo dieting or working too hard or working out too hard, to where I brought myself to neutral, where I was healthy. And when I realized I was healthy, I thought, well, what else do I want? Well, I want to be hot. I want to be built like Captain Marvel. I want to have a 6-pack. And so the last 1.5 years, I've really been working towards the aesthetic progress. And that caused me to hit new edges, to really look at different fears and different negative emotions that I still was holding on to unconsciously. Because the effort that it took to not sabotage my progress required me to emotionally regulate even more, to control my thoughts and discipline my emotions even more, to prioritize myself, to stick with my commitments even more, to say no to the things that were not in my highest good or the highest good of the other person even more. It is a more experience when we want our body to not just go from health to a nice, functioning health, but go from non-healthy to something that's healthy. But to push the envelope even more and recreate ourselves requires more, because we are facing the fears that tell us we're too much and we're not enough. So I've been able to do that for myself. I finally got my comprehensive system down, where we started this past Monday. And now I'm so excited to have all of my work come in and ground, so I can be with you here consistently every single week to share with you something that's about the tangible doing and the intangible thinking, feeling, and energetics and mindset. So we're going to get started here on this. Oh, hey, Brooke, we're going to get started. Hey, we're going to get started here. So how these are going to work for the live streams. If you are not a Hottie with the Body member, you're definitely going to want to catch these lives so I can have a conversation with you in the moment. I will not be doing any coaching on the live streams. That is reserved for the Hottie with the Body members. However, conversational pieces and expansion by what you put in the comments will definitely occur. So Brooke, feel free to let us know if anything lands. So what I decided to talk about with you today is actually the tangible, what I do all the time. And I have 14 things. So the things that I do is I go to the gym 6 days a week. I train one body part at a time. And before I was doing that, I was doing weightlifting rehab work to really work on my thoracic spine and my neck and my shoulder so that I would control my chronic flares. But when I switched into bodybuilding, I got a totally new experience with my body where the goal is, and this is in the app also, in the workout app, is that we get blood into the muscle. And then once we feel that pump and we feel the blood fill the tissue, we get kind of tight and fatigued and burning. But then when we come back to our next set, after we just injected it with all this nutritious blood, then we push it on that second, third, and fourth set. But bodybuilding is all about building one muscle at a time. And scientists have called the molecules that secrete from the muscle when they are exercising hope molecules. And this is the definitive scientific reason why we feel better after exercise. A lot of us have heard about endorphins that secrete and serotonin that secretes, but there's actually a chemical reaction inside the muscle that happens when we exercise, and they're called hope molecules. So I work out 6 days a week. I go on long walks most days with my dogs. So if the weather is good here in California, which it usually is, I will be outside on a walk for at least an hour with my dogs. And I listen to something uplifting, like a meditation, or I listen to music. Now, most of my workout days, most of my 6 days a week, I do 20-minute walks on the treadmill. Love you too. So my 20-minute walks on the treadmill, I challenge myself to walk faster and faster each time I walk, because there's evidence that shows, especially for women, that when we do cardio too intensely for too long, we actually surpass the feel-good hormones and we start to secrete cortisol. So I always keep my gym walks to 20 minutes, and I just push myself to see how fast I can go, without feeling any discomfort in my hips, my knees, or my feet or my ankles. Now, I cook twice a week. So every couple of days, like every 3 or 4 days, or maybe more like 4 or 5 days, I'm cooking, and I have staple food. I eat a variety of squash, chicken, turkey, bison, and beef. And I buy most of my animal products from really clean sources. And I say most because we can't always believe what's on the label. I order skirt steak, I buy free range bison, and I buy organic chicken. So I'm eating a variety of squash, a variety of healthy animal proteins. A lot of my fat just comes in through the animal proteins. And then what else am I eating? I'm eating bell peppers all the time. And bell peppers and squash are so good for our digestive system and really helps our energy increase and our focus increase. So those are my staple foods, along with rice and sweet potato, mushroom, and onion. And some of the food that I cook in the moment will sometimes be a fried egg, or it will be rice flour cereal. Cream of rice and rice flour are the same thing. And sometimes I'll cook that on the stove, add some protein powder, and it is so delicious. I eat out twice a week. So usually on Wednesdays, I go out to lunch, and usually on Saturdays, I go out to brunch with my training partner after our workout. And I don't track these 2 days. I let myself loosen up, but I don't binge, I don't overdo it, and I don't feel guilty for eating quote unquote off plan. It's a time to have a mental, emotional, and physical release, and really enjoy the experience of food without any thought going along with it. No judgment. No, I shouldn't eat this much, or no, I should have that. No, it's what do I want to eat? How am I going to enjoy it? How much do I want to eat? Am I going to stuff myself? No. So my last meal out on Saturday, I brought half of it home. Immediately before I started eating, I cut the portions in half, got containers, and then ate the half that was left on the plate. So you can definitely eat whatever it is that you want within reason, and you won't backslide with your results. I already talked about bodybuilding, so I'll skip that one. I also do corrective exercise and Pilates as needed. So these are topics number 6 and 7. Remember, I told you I have 14 things. So corrective exercise, you can look that up on my YouTube channel under the playlist. And corrective exercise really helps the fulcrums in our body recalibrate. So a lot of times we get jammed joints in all of our joints, any one of the joints, and it actually changes how energy is transferred in our body. And this energy that I'm talking about right now is force, because when you step forward with your right foot, the force that gets into the floor from your heel hitting the ground travels up your leg, crosses through your hip, and then exits out the opposite side of your face and your hand. So if we have a joint that's jammed, that energy can't freely move through your body. So corrective exercise is such a good thing to do, especially if you have chronic pain. So check that out on my YouTube playlist. And then the other thing I do is Pilates. I think a lot of people know that I am a Pilates teacher. I learned from Ron Fletcher, and he learned from Joe and Clara Pilates. So I'm a second generation Pilates teacher, and Pilates is such a wonderful way to get in your body. When we have thoughts and feelings that don't feel good, there's a part of us that splits. The mental, emotional, and physical bodies split. And that's why we have chronic problems with the physical body, because we're not an integrated organism. And so what happens is anything that's negative that caused this mental, emotional, physical split, it's still active. You still have the vibration happening. You still have the degenerative molecules of emotion secreting from your brain. So your body is still going through the experience of the negative emotion, but because you're disembodied mentally, emotionally, and physically, you're unaware of the reason why you're sick. So Pilates is a really wonderful way for us to center ourselves with our body and with the breath. And I have Pilates playlist on my YouTube as well. And I have a follow along of hip, knee, and spine stretches on my YouTube. So you can definitely check that out. It's a flow that is taken from Ron Fletcher's floor work. Now I get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. This used to be really hard for me because I would be tired in enough time to go to sleep, but I would wake up between 3 and 5 most nights and my brain would just be on. So I actually take a natural sleep supplement that has magnesium and tryptophan and a little bit of melatonin in it, and it helps me sleep. 6 to 8 hours of sleep is so important because our sleep time is when our hormones regenerate, our kidneys filter the toxins in our body, and we get like a whole new system. It's like plugging our phone in, but we're plugging our bodies in so that they can regenerate and be healthy the next day. This is where all of the repairs happen. So 6 to 8 hours of sleep is another one to do out of my 14 things that I do on a regular basis. I have dedicated off time. So one of the things that happened for me in my, human conditioning that led to sabotaging behaviors is I always worked, always had work on my mind, was always grinding, always overdoing it. And so now I have dedicated time where I am not thinking about work at all. I'm not doing work. I'm not being present on social media. There is nothing that has to do with body energetics and me going on. And so it's really important for us to stop thinking about work periodically so that you don't burn out, and so that the energy and the focus that you're spending on other people and your business itself can be redirected towards you, because you are the number one important factor in your whole life. because you are the only one who can operate your body. You are the only one who can think and feel for yourself. And you are the only one who's left at the end of the day when you close your eyes. I have dedicated contemplation time. So I have a lot of questions. I'm always asking, how do things work? Why do we feel certain ways? Why do we have a hard time sticking with our follow through with our habits? Why is it that some of us can do everything right, but we're still not getting results? Why? So I ask really big questions, and I focus myself to expect the answer to come in. And so with this dedicated contemplation time, I'm also expecting that my soul, that my high self, that who I believe God is going to show up and give me the answer. So sometimes an answer will come on a walk, through a shadow, through an animal, through a random text, through a conversation, anything, through a stranger, a cloud shape, anything, a song. So when we contemplate, or when I contemplate, I'm asking to go to a next level in my mindset and in my understanding. So when I'm contemplating on something that I want to infuse into my life, I'm also contemplating with the expectation that I'm going to find the answer, that the answer and the tool and the resource and the how is going to come to me. But I also don't have any attachment to it. Because if I create an attachment for something to come to me in a certain way, in a certain time frame, I am stopping the cosmic laws of the universe and applying my human limited perception to the answer. So anytime we set a goal and we have to have it at a certain time and we're freaking out about it and we're obsessing about it, that application of when we want it to happen and that attachment to when we want it to happen actually messes things up and prevents it from coming to us, because our human understanding is not as large as sources or God's understanding. So if we say it has to happen like this, but God says there's like a bajillion other ways it can come to you, but since you want it only this way, okay, we got a whole lot to orchestrate, or it's probably not going to happen because we don't have that larger perspective. So dedicated contemplation time, the expectation that the answer will come, but no attachment to when or how. I also have dedicated gratitude time, and this just comes in when I go to sleep. So as soon as I get into bed, I feel the temperature of the sheets. I listen to the rain, or I listen to the outside if the window's open. I love sleeping with a fan on. I hear the fan. I feel a little bit of a breeze. I think about my dog that's sleeping next to me. I think about everything that I did that day. I think about all the people that I interacted with. I just fill myself with gratitude that, wow, I have this amazing, comfortable bed. I'm in really nice environment to where it's not too hot, not too cold. I have my dog that I love. I'm healthy. And even when I didn't notice that all those things were good and I wasn't healthy, I still was grateful for whatever it was that I had. And so when we can apply gratitude, especially when we're not quite where we want to go, if we can hold gratitude for where we are and the deep knowing that we can arrive where we want to be, and we become grateful for our imagination, for what we see for ourselves, that's really going to catapult you forward, because gratitude is the emotion that generates your desires. We have to notice what we have so that we can build from that place. If we're missing gratitude in our life about anything in our life, if we're missing gratitude for anything, we are unable to create more, because it's like a staircase, or it's like building a brick wall. If you don't have a foundation, you can't put any more bricks on top, right? Like you have to build it from the bottom up, not the top down. So when we don't find anything to be grateful for, there's actually like no material existence for our lives to progress from. So gratitude is so important. I have dedicated imagination time. This also happens before I go to bed. So I imagine my six pack. I imagine looking more and more like Captain Marvel from the Marvel comic movies, the magazines, comic book. I imagine what it's like for me to interact with clients. I imagine clients coming to me with all of their progress. I imagine what it's going to be like when I have my travel van where I can drive up to the beach for the day and have a little kitchen and a toilet and a bed if I want to get out of the sun for a few hours and take a nap. Like, I visualize what I want to experience in my life and in my body, and I visualize and imagine what my clients' results are. Because I didn't work on body energetics for the last 3 years to not have client results. And I didn't choose a career in health and fitness for the last 22 years to not have clients have results in their health and fitness. So I imagine for my clients, them having the same experience in their body and in their life that I have. And when I do gratitude and imagination before I fall asleep, what I'm actually doing is programming my subconscious mind to then create my reality under those conditions. Because when I have gratitude, I'm secreting regenerative molecules of emotion into my body. So I'm giving my DNA a boost and my immune system a boost with growth hormones. And then vibrationally, I'm expanding my energetic field in a high vibration. So that means that I am a greater match to all high vibe experiences like love, joy, appreciation, kindness, care, excitement. So I have my internal system getting regenerated. I'm a better energetic match to what I want. And then when I use my imagination after I've had that moment of gratitude, now all of a sudden my subconscious mind can go to work and she can really recognize that this thing that I'm imagining is fully possible. Because the chemicals in the brain are already working, the vibration and the mental and emotional body and the physical and spiritual bodies are working. So I have this full cohesion, like this whole system surrounding the actual mechanism of the subconscious mind to say, yes, we can create that reality for you and it will come true. We believe it to be true. Because this inner work that we're doing of having contemplation and asking for that guidance, to have the time to feel gratitude, to have the time to imagine what we want next. This is the inner work where those high vibrational, good, regenerative, happy experiences cause contrast to what is stored in our body unconsciously that's negative. So when we're doing this inner work, we call it power work. What we're doing is creating the contrast so that we can actually see the thoughts and feelings, the memories and the stories, the reasons why we don't follow through with our habits or why we sabotage ourselves. So what happens is we move through things faster by having that contemplation time, the gratitude time, and the imagination time. And so if we go to bed and we don't do gratitude and we don't imagine what we want, all the subconscious mind is left with is whatever happened that day and whatever is stored. And if those two things do not have positive emotion attached to them, we will go to bed in that vibration and in those degenerative molecules of emotion, and we will wake up the next day automatically programmed to then experience it again. And so this is the deep energetic stuff that I teach with body energetics that you're supported with Hadi with the body. But that's it. Like, that's what it is. And then it's figuring out how to observe these feelings and what emotional regulation tools work really well for you. That leads me to my emotional regulation tool, which is brain and heart coherence breathing. Now, this is something that I do when I open up my meditations. We inhale for 5 seconds and exhale for 5 seconds. And what happens with this is you slow down your heart organ so that it knows it's safe, so it doesn't perceive any danger. And when we're breathing slowly, we're able to access our high heart, our energetic heart. And when we're in our high heart, we're tapped into our soul and our high self, the mindset of our high self, the best aspects of us, who we are on the soul level without any negative karma, anything negative at all. So the brain and heart coherence breathing, when our heart is in that smooth, relaxed, energetic state, we program it by imagining love, something that would make us feel love, joy, appreciation, kindness, or care. And when we get the heart to emanate that signal, we encompass all of our bodies with those vibrations. So we become a better energetic match to things that we would experience in real life that would make us feel from the outside in love, joy, appreciation, kindness, and care. What we're also doing is slowing down chaotic brain waves and putting our brain into the theta state. The theta brainwave state is what we were mostly in from the ages 0 to 7, where we were learning how to be human in our environment, with our parents, with our peers, with our family, with the culture. And so when we're in brain and heart coherence breathing, we're using regenerative molecules of emotion to help our DNA express itself in ease. We're reducing inflammation. We're creating a vibration that makes us a better energetic match to positive things happening in our life. And we're getting our brain into a creative state of the brain wave. And in this way of being, of having your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies all connected, you're able to tap into your soul, your higher intelligence. You're able to think creatively and calmly. And so whatever type of struggle that you have, or negative emotion, or limiting belief that you're dealing with, when you're in brain and heart coherence, you're actually able to find the solutions. And this is such a powerful thing for emotional regulation, because life is life. There's going to be stress. There's going to be triggers. There's going to be times where something reminds you of a negative experience that you've had, but you don't actually have the memory in your mind. You just know that whenever you feel this certain way, that's when you say, I don't need to exercise. That's when you say, I don't need to eat healthy. I've been being good. That's when we backslide. And there's a huge difference between backsliding out of negative emotion and choosing to eat things without any shame or guilt. There's a huge energetic difference, and it plays a role in how your body is manifesting, your self-esteem, and your confidence. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm like so excited that I get to share this with you. These are the tangible things that I do all the time that have gotten me so fit. My six-pack is so close. I have so many lines on my abs, and abs are made in the kitchen. So to do this on a slow and steady pace, to where I'm not just going to get my six-pack, I'm actually going to maintain it, because I'm building in myself a healthy lifestyle that's going to allow me to maintain the amount of leanness necessary to have a year-round six-pack. So I'm so excited to share this stuff with you. Next week, I don't know when I'm going to do these live streams, if they're going to happen every Sunday or what I'm going to do with these. But every week I'm going to be sharing with you the tangible and the intangible. So this week was the tangible. Next week will be more energetic, mindset, emotional, spiritual, intangible stuff. So we're going to be going back and forth between those two, because this is how we get results twice as fast with half the effort. We do the 3D, And we do the tangible and the intangible at the same time so that it makes the tangible stuff so much easier to do, and the results come so much faster and they last. Thank you so much for being here. We will catch you next week.